Glad you're watching Open Line tonight. We are talking all things COVID-19 and a local group's call for the U.S. Justice Department to investigate Governor Bill Lee for his handling of the COVID-19 pandemic. We've got lots of great calls to get to, but let me introduce our guests one more time. Dr. Jason Martin and Dr. Vidya Bansal, both physicians in this area. Thank you again for being with us. Let's get to the lines, because that's what Open Line is all about, is taking these calls. Anne, I believe you are up.
Good evening. First, let me say that I am vaccinated. I've had autoimmune problems since I was a teenager, and I'm now in my 60s. I've had lupus since I was 28, so I have a host of autoimmune disorders and problems, and I would have it again in a heartbeat. First, I want to say that today I had a very sobering event when I went shopping with my husband for the first time in months, and vaccinated, put on my mask to go into a store. And it took me back to the very beginning when Linda Piercy and Bill Lee, all they could talk about was reaching herd immunity. And me listening to Dr. Tanger and Dr. Hildreth, and the two of them giving us safe and reliable information, and Bill Lee and Dr. Piercy hounding with herd immunity. And I want to thank the physicians that are asking the Justice Department to come in and investigate the handling of this, because they need to go back to the very beginning. Because people like me that waited and waited and waited for the vaccine had to rely on Dr. Hildreth and Dr. Tahanger and physicians like these two sitting right here, because our governor put us at risk. And that risk was shown last week when that person was at random put out of a job. So thank you. And let your colleagues know that there are people like me that say thank you, because we saw what was going on and we were helpless and could do nothing. But thank you, and I'll leave it at that.
Okay, Ann, thank you for your call tonight. We appreciate hearing from you. Let me get another call in, then I have some questions for you all as well. Sure. Suzanne is on the line. Hi, Suzanne.
Hi, how are you?
Good, go ahead.
Well, thank you all for your service, too, but I'm very much pro-Governor Lee. I don't think those two doctors are the only doctors in the world, and it is a choice you make. It's called accountability for your own issues, whether you want the shot or not. So if y'all are so worried about that, I'm not making light of that or trying to be sarcastic, so don't take it the wrong way. How do you feel about the open border? All these people coming in and getting shipped all over the United States. I'm sure you're very frightened about that, aren't you?
All right, let's talk about it.
Yeah, so, I'm here tonight to talk about the COVID-19 pandemic and the fact that 12,000 Tennesseans have lost their lives, and the fact that we're 45th in the nation in terms of vaccine uptake, and the fact that in the middle of a pandemic, our chief executive decided to fire the chief vaccine officer for the state of Tennessee, and the negative impacts that that's going to have on the health and safety and economy and school openings in the state of Tennessee. Mm-hmm. That's what I'm here to talk about tonight.
And you told me before the break you wanted to talk about, because I asked you, do you support vaccine mandates? And Dr. Martin, you wanted to weigh in on that.
Yeah, I just want to say, I think we need to stop talking about mandates, because mandates are super politically charged, and we need to take the politics out of vaccination, right? Mm-hmm. This is a scientific issue. It absolutely is a family decision. It's a personal decision that every Tennessean has to make for themselves about whether or not it's the right thing to do. But I have to tell you, we need to be focusing our efforts on getting the right information out to Tennesseans so that they can make informed decisions. And you don't do that by cutting the head off the Department of Health.
Mm-hmm. Was that a tipping point for both of you in this conversation and in this past 18 months or so? The firing of Dr. Fiskus?
I would say it was another drop in the bucket of some of the issues that have been going on in the past that I would agree and call it reckless behavior. And talking about open borders, we have an open border in Tennessee right now because the governor is asking and paying and using taxpayer money to pay for people to come in So we have an open border right now.
You're talking on the Tennessee on Me campaign, which was launched just a couple of weeks ago.
Correct.
People aren't catching on to that.
Correct. So we're already inviting people and paying for them to come in. And so, yes, this open border in Tennessee right now does concern me.
It does. Because you're worried about what's coming in and what's going back out and how it spreads.
Absolutely.
Let's get back to the phone lines. Jennifer is on the line. Hi, Jennifer.
Yes.
Thank you for your patience.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Yes, hello?
Hello, go ahead.
Yes, I'm sorry, there's a delay on the TV. So, yes, so I have a question about the vaccine. So, and its efficacy. I have family members who are both in the hospital currently, one in COVID ICU and one just in the COVID unit, and they were both vaccinated. So I'm just very, very concerned that it's been probably 6 months now that they have been vaccinated, and this didn't hit them lightly. This hit them hard. And I'm just wondering, there's no talk for booster shots, and I feel like that should be coming. We should be discussing that. Just a lot of concerns. My family is all vaccinated except for my young children, but seeing my parents go through this right now and be fully vaccinated is very, very alarming.
Yeah, absolutely. Jennifer, thank you for your call. I'm going to hang up so you can listen to your TV to get the answers here. That is concerning because we have heard the message time and time again, if you're vaccinated and you get COVID, it's going to probably be to the lesser degree, but she's not experiencing that in her family.
That's right. So I'd like to say, first of all, Jennifer, I'm sorry you're having to experience that with your family. I know how difficult it is, and I know that folks are going to work really hard to get your family back to you safely. I would tell you that just because we're having breakthrough cases does not mean that the vaccine is not effective. You know, the trial data with the mRNA vaccines, Moderna and Pfizer, told us that the efficacy for for preventing infection was about 95%. So it's not 100%, but still 95% is better than most vaccines available, right?
Yeah.
And so it's still extremely effective at preventing infection and almost 100% at preventing severe infection. So I looked at some data about breakthrough infections today from the month of May, and in the United States there were 107,000 hospitalizations. Only 1,200 occurred in patients who have been fully vaccinated. So, you know, it's not perfect, but it's the best we have, and it's very, very good.
And Jennifer brought up the need for booster shots, and there has been some push and pull between one of the companies saying we're going to need a booster soon, and I think it's the FDA saying, not just quite yet. What do you all know about this, and where do you stand?
Well, last December, the frontline physicians in the emergency rooms and the ICUs were the first to get the vaccine. And so it's almost time for us to start thinking about the booster. So I agree that we probably will need a booster at some point, but we're still in the period of collecting data. If we mimic the plan similarly to how we have done the flu, as you know, the flu vaccine is generated every year depending on what the most common strains are from the previous years.
Right.
And so you can get the flu vaccine but still get the flu because it may not have been one of those strains for which the vaccine was made for, because it is based on the previous years. So if we kind of go based on this and the previous strains that we've seen with the breakthrough infections, we have a new variant around, so that has something to do with it, although the vaccines have proven to be effective against those. But we just need to collect more data, and I expect that we will see that data and we will start to see boosters.
Do you expect that this will become, when you go for your flu shot, if you decide to do that, you're also getting your COVID shot, or they even become together?
I would think so. You know, this is an evolving process. You know, we're learning as we go. We're gonna find out what works and what doesn't work, and that may change from time to time. But as far as a booster, I think it is going to mimic something like the flu vaccine.
I said that earlier. I wanted to talk more about this Delta variant because the messaging is, you know, time after time, it's more contagious, it's more deadly, it's more, and I think that people kind of are like, is it just another fear message?
Right.
But what is the science? That's what I want to know. What is the science? Why is it getting more deadly, more contagious?
So when people say that it's just a fear message, I like to quote one of my late mentors, Dr. Art Wheeler, who said that nothing messes up an argument like data. And just go back and look at the numbers. As the Delta variant has become more prevalent in our community, our hospitalizations are increasing again. Our deaths are increasing again. We're not anywhere near where we were last winter. However, there's still a large pool of people who are not vaccinated that are susceptible to the Delta variant. And so I think we're headed for some rough times in the next couple of weeks. Some specific numbers. July 4th compared to yesterday, we're up from 195 hospitalizations in Tennessee to 408. So we've doubled since the 4th. 77 of those are in the ICU. In July the 4th, now we have 137 patients in the ICU. Deaths, ventilators are up from 39 to 60. So, I mean, all the trends, unfortunately, are in the wrong direction. We still have capacity, which means there's still time to make a difference. So that's why we want to talk about vaccines.
Okay, we're going to take another quick break. Bill, I know you're on the line, and a few other folks. As soon as we get back, we'll take your calls. I promise. Stay with us.